Hi guys, welcome back to the channel again. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I made this beautiful two-piece. The top has a Queen Ann neckline, while the skirt has a smoked, from the waist to the hip line has a smoked effect, then gathers, two-step gathers. So if this is what you're interested in, then you should stick to this video. All right, so my return subscribers, I love you all. If you're just seeing me for the first time, welcome. I love you too. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notification bell. Without wasting much of your time, guys, let's get right into the video. And like you all know, I love drafting on my pattern paper. Okay, so for clearer view, I'll be using my pattern paper for the top. So we're starting with the top. Like I said, the top has a Queen Ann neckline and it has a gathered sleeve. All right, so first of all, I'll start marking on my starting line. After that, I'm going to start taking my vertical point, which is my bust point, that's shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist. Then the top is not long, it's kind of cropped up, so I'll be adding, after my shoulder to waist, I'm going to add 2 inches for the hemming allowance. That's allowance for my hemming allowance. All right, hemming allowance, guys, sorry. So I'll mark my line horizontally this way. After that, I'm going to label the lines, which is my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, then the allowance, the 2 inches. So after taking your waistline, come down by 2 inches for your hemming allowance. So I'll divide my shoulder by 2, come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. From that 1 inch, I'm going to mark 9, which is my armhole line. I'll mark horizontally and vertical line, just the way you see me doing, guys. From that 1 inch I came down by, and I'm going to label my chest line. Then I'll take my neck width, which is 3, and I will connect into my shoulder slope just this way. All right, so guys, after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to divide what I have on my armhole by 2, come out by 1/4 of an inch and make my armhole curve just like this. Then after that, I'm going to start inserting my nipple to nipple from my bust point. So my nipple to nipple is 10 divided by 2 is 5. I'm going to mark it on the bust point, on the bust, waistline, and on the allowance I took. So I'll reconnect it with a straight line. Then the next thing I'll be doing now is I'm going to take, like, depends on how deep you want your chest line to be exposed. For me, I'll be making use of 7.5. You can make use of 5, you can make use of 8. As you can see, my chest line wasn't that exposed, so if you want yours exposed, make sure you make use of 9, 8, 9. Yeah, so I'll take, on that new line, I'm going to take my nipple to nipple as well, divided by 2, and I'll connect the line. All right, so guys, after that, the next thing I'm going to do, on the under bust, I'm going to come out by the side going to the center front. I'll come out by 1/2 inch. Then on the side going to the side front, I'll come out by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it with a straight line just this way to meet the bust point. Then I'll slant it on a straight line. Then on the side coming to the center front, I'm going to make a curve. Side front, sorry, I'm going to make a curve. Then on that new chest line, I'll take 1/2 inch for our upper bust tightening, and I'll connect with a curve just this way. I think I've done something like this on this channel before. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do, can you see what I did? I'm going to make a curve now, like place my curve rule. Sorry guys, you guys are not seeing what I'm doing. I'm trying to make a curve from that new chest line. I'm going to make a curve to meet the center, like 1 inch. Come up by 1 inch from your chest line, then you make a curve. But if you want yours to be deep, make sure you extend the curve to the chest line. All right, so now for my yoke, I'm going to come out by how wide I want my yoke to be. I'll come out by 2.5, and I'll connect it straight into the neck width I got, the 3 inches neck width I got. All right, then the next thing I'm going to do to tighten my armhole, I'm going to come up by 1/2 of an inch and slant it so there won't be gaping on that yoke area. All right, so now it's time to insert my body measurements. So on my bust, on my chest line, I'm going to divide my bust divided by 4, replace the 1 inch that intake without, I'm not adding any allowance yet. On my waistline, divide my waist by 4, replace the dart allowance, that's the darts I took, replace the darts, then I'll connect the line just this way down to the allowance I took, okay, the hemming allowance. So that is all for the front drafting, for the drafting of the front. So I'm going to go ahead now to cut this out. All right guys, if you've watched up to this extent and you're yet to subscribe to my channel, I beg you in the name of God, you are missing. I beg you, hit on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notification bell. Now can you see that place I curved from that new chest line I made? Can you see that place I curved? Is so if you want yours deep, the place I'm cutting now, if you want yours deeper, then you extend the curve to meet your chest line, okay? Then that yoke area, make sure you notch it, like you give a size, so that is when you where your yoke will be joining. Yeah, because I used my marker to give a point there. When cutting on my fabric, I'm going to notch that particular area, okay? So I'll go ahead and open up my dart leg just the way you see me doing. Then after that, I'm going to cut out the yoke separately. But if you don't want your yoke to be attached, you can as well leave it like this without cutting your yoke. But if you look closely, the one on the thumbnail, the yoke was attached. All right, the yoke was separate and it was attached later. So can you see? So you're going cutting on your fabric, make sure you notch that area where I marked my marker. All right, that's where the joining of your yoke is going to stop. All right, now we're going to be cutting for the back now. So guys, for the back, I'm gonna head to mark on another pattern paper. I marked 1.5 inch for my zipper. Then I made the line just the way I did for the front. I don't want this video to be too long. From you mark your starting line, you get your vertical line, your bust point, your under bust waistline, then 2 inches for sewing, for hemming allowance. Then you take your nipple to nipple down. All right, from the now your nipple to nipple measurement is starting from your chest line. Guys, hope you guys understand what I did. This is the back pattern, so the same thing I did for the front is the same thing I'm doing for the back. All right, the difference is the zipper and the dart intake. Then I'm going to come out by half inch on the hemming allowance. That's the hem, the 2 inch I came down by, and connect it back into the chest line, and I'll start taking my round body measurements. Hope you guys understand. Hope you guys understand, please. Then I'll take my round body measurement, replace all the dart intake, all right, and I'll make a curve. Now the neck width for the back still remain 3, but the neck depth is 1. The neck depth is 1 inch. All right, so make sure you come out by 1.5 inches for your zipper. You take your vertical line, which is your chest line, bust points, under bust waistline, and 2 inch extra 2 inches for folding allowance. Let me say it like that so you guys understand, for folding allowance. Okay, you take your nipple to nipple divided by 2 from the chest line down to the hem length. Then you, from your allowance, the hem length allowance, you're going to come out by half inch and connect straight to the chest line slantly for the dart leg. Then for zipper bulging, come out by half of an inch from the hem length and slant all the way up. That's just it. Okay, so now guys, I've gone ahead to cut on my fabric, and if you can see on the side of the fabric, I added 1 inch. I added 1.5 inch, sorry, for seam allowance, because while drafting on my pattern paper, I did not add any sewing allowance. So on my fabric, I added 1.5 inch for sewing allowance on the side. And the part this, I have both my lining piece on it, so in each I have 4. Okay, so my lining piece, I'm going to be lining both the yoke, everything, both the back and the front. I'm going to be lining everything. Hope you guys understand. Okay, so that's just it. I'm going to go ahead and notch that area I told you guys to notch it. That is where our yoke is going to be stopping. Can you see? So that's just it. So make sure you cut lining for every piece you cut. Okay guys, so I have 4. Each one is 4. That's 2 for the main fabric, 2 for the lining piece. I hope you guys are understanding. I hope I'm making sense. But if you have any question, you can leave that down in the comment section. Okay, so now it's time to join the lining piece. So I'm going to join all the lining pieces together. Okay, so I'm going to sew, leaving the down, that's leaving the down open. I'm going to sew stitch all the way around, leaving the down part open. All right, so that's just it. I'll hem both the back, I'll join the lining both the back and the front. Okay, so you're closing everywhere, leaving just the down part open. Hope you guys understand. So when I'm done, I'm going to show you how it looks and what next to do. So guys, I am done joining the lining piece on every part of our bodies, like of our fabric. Now it's time to start joining. Right, so this is the front. I'm going to start. I'll join the side front to the center front. Okay, so I'm going to stitch it down with 1/4 of an inch, and I'll also do same thing for the other side. So you see this part where I'm stitching down, that is where you're going to join. You're going to stitch. You bring the other side of the side front and you join it on the other side of the center front. Okay, so I'm going to use my pin to secure it down just the way you see me doing. After that, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch it down. All right, hope you guys understand. So guys, I am done stitching. This is how it looks. This is the front. This is just for the front. Okay, I am done stitching it and you can see it's looking very, very nice. All right, so you're going to get the yoke and you join. All right, you're going to join it now. That part you notched, be careful, that is where your joining is going to stop. I'll use my pin to just hold this down. I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll run a stitch on it. All right, I'm also going to bring the other part of the yoke and I'm going to join it the way I joined this other part. All right, so that part I notched as well. That is where your yoke is going to stop. So that is the essence of you notching. All right, so you don't mistake it. So that is it. So I'll go and stitch and show you guys how it looks. So guys, I am done stitching the yoke to it. Can you see? Our Queen Ann neckline is already out, looking very fine. Now it's time to join the shoulder to the shoulder. That's the back shoulder. I'll join it to the front shoulder, just the way you see me doing. Okay, now I want to say something. If you also want your back to have that effect for the front, it's totally fine. But the one on the thumbnail, this is how it looks. Though I did not see the back, but looking at it, you're going to know that from the back, you're going to be seeing it. So I'm going to join it shoulder to shoulder just this way. All right, then when I'm done, I'm going to show you how it looks. So now first we'll be working on our sleeve. I had to cut the sleeve off camera, but I'll be leaving a video on how to go about your sleeve down the description box. Okay, so now whatever the length of your sleeve is, make sure you add 7 inches to it. So now my sleeve length is 22. I added 7 inches to it, which is 29. So I'm going to measure out that 22. I'll measure it out. That is where I'm going to use my elastic. That is where I'm going to be stitching my elastic on. Okay, so that's after stitching the elastic, like when you're done stitching the elastic on that 7 inches you added, it's going to gather. And while stitching your elastic, make sure you stretch your elastic so that the more you stretch, the more it's gathering, for you to get that gathered effect on the sleeve. Okay, so measure and use your elastic to stitch. So same thing I did for this side, I'm going to do it for the other side as well. So I am done stitching the elastic. Can you see how it came out? This is the elastic on the sleeve, and I'm done joining my back shoulder to the front shoulder. Now it's time to attach the sleeve. All right, so I'm going to go attach the sleeve and come back. So after I was done attaching the sleeve to it, this is how it looks. Can you see? I've attached my sleeve to the shoulder. Now the next thing we're going to do now is to close the sides. So I'll be closing, this is it. Now I'll flip it to the wrong side and I'll stitch the sides. After that, I'm going to add my zipper, and that is it. All right, that's it for the tutorial. When you're done, make sure you hem the hem length. That's you use your hemming gum on the hem length. So I don't want this video to be too long. On our next tutorial, I'm going to show you how I went about the smoked skirts and the gathers on it. All right, so stay tuned guys, you don't want to miss on the tutorial on how I made this beautiful skirts. All right guys, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. If you find this tutorial helpful, please don't forget, if you find it educating too, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share, leave a nice comment, and do not forget to subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post beautiful tutorials like this. All right guys, see you on my next video. Bye.